welcome. Goodness.
So we are setting up. And
Patricia, who is our person from the Orange County Sheriff's Office?
He's right there. I think it's
So
Captain
that's
Carter.
I see, yeah.
Captain Carter.
Yep.
Okay, so
Captain
Is that
Carter-
Captain Carter?
Yes, Bertina, Captain Carter's on. I'm listening and watching. We also have
Oh,
Sergeant
welcome.
Ranger
Good to
Prunier
see
on
you.
from our community-oriented policing squad. So you have two representatives of the Orange County Sheriff's Office. So I'm on.
Awesome, Captain
Sergeant
Carter.
Prunier, who is a sergeant of our great cops squad. He just waved at y'all. He's on as well. So
Okay.
we're all glad
Hello.
tonight.
Oh, there he is. Hi. I think it's 6:30. Who else is it 6:30 or are we still a little early?
1 minute.
Okay, one more minute and we will get started. Thank you, Ms. Van. Ms. Van is our treasurer.
Timekeeper.
Yes. And we have some more partners. We have other partners from Pine Hill Safe Neighborhood, Ms. Rosalind.
Hi.
And her assistant, Rashida, who's done a great job with Pine Hill Safe Neighborhood. Thank you very much. So at 6:30, I'm gonna go ahead and call the meeting to order. And Pastor Joy, if you can lead us in prayer and Pledge of Allegiance. But before we get started, I'm gonna ask you all to please share this page and share information with people that will sign in. Do this myself. Meeting started 6:30. Hold up a second. I'm trying to get on Facebook. I'm on the phone line waiting and watching on Facebook. Okay. So go ahead and Pastor Joy and lead us in prayer and do the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Awesome. Well, Lord, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this meeting. We thank you for everyone that's on here, and then everyone that will be viewing and soon to come. Lord, I pray, God, that as we speak on issues and things that are happening so good in our community, God, and the things that we are endeavoring to happen, Lord, I pray that you will bless everything that we do. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 Well,
Okay.
let's do the pledge. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I got a flag here for you all.
I pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance
All right.
to the
Well, I pledge allegiance to the flag
and to the
of the United States of America,
republic
to the
nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
all.
Thank you.
Wow, that was
It is so funny because we have different things are set up differently. But before I get started, I'm gonna please ask you to, if you're not speaking, mute your lines, please. Mute your device, your laptop, whatever you have, please mute your line so we don't get the feedback from the back. Thank you very much. We're gonna ask you to mute your line. And then I'm just gonna say, welcome to our Pine Hills Community Council virtual monthly community meeting. And as we get going, we had the call to order. This is our agenda. So I wanna welcome everyone. I notice we have some, I wanna make sure that we recognize all of our political officials that's here. Either a political official is here, or if you're here representing a political officer, please introduce yourself now, because I'm not sure who's on the line, but if you're here, I know Ms. Landra and Ms. Rose Nancy, and so is Athena. Sandra, can you let Jason in, please?
Yes, ma'am, I just did.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening, it's Landra Robeson, representing our Orange County tax collector, Scott Randolph. Good evening and glad to be here.
Thank you, Ms. Landra.
Artina Green with Representative Camilla Brown, District 45, and she sends her greetings to everyone, and we're happy to be here as well.
Thank you, Artina.
Rose Nancy with Commissioner Victoria Strickland's office, District 6 side of Pine Hills.
Thank you, Miss Rose Nancy. Thank you very much.
And I will let you know that Peggy Gustav is in her car and she is listening to you guys on Facebook Live with Representative Congresswoman Val Deming's office.
Thank you, Athena, for letting us know that. And thank you all for your service, and thank you members for being here on the line today. And thank you those that's watching Facebook Live. And thank you those that are here on Zoom for taking this time out to join the Pine Hills Community Council tonight, to know more about your community and know how we can move forward together as a team in our community. Thank you, and you all are welcome. So we're gonna move on the agenda where we have the approval of the minutes and the treasury report. If you are a member of the council, then you should have received a copy by email of the minutes. So I hope you received your copy of the minutes, had opportunity to review the minutes so we can get approval of the minutes from our last meeting, our meeting in July. Are there any corrections on those minutes?
There are no corrections from so I move we accept the minutes.
Can I get a second?
I second.
Thank you, Ms. Sanders. So it's been moved a second. So are there any opposes? No opposes, no question. Okay, thank you. The minutes are approved. Thank you very much. We're gonna move on down the agenda because I really want to get to why we're here tonight. So the next thing on the agenda is the treasury report. So Ms. Van, you want to give us a treasury report? You all may be able to see it or may not, but there it is. Ms. Van. You probably need to unmute yourself, Ms. Van.
Okay, that would
Thank
be
you.
good, wouldn't it? Thank you.
Yes, it would be good.
Yes.
Good evening, everyone, and glad to be here. Your financial report for the month of January 2021. We had a dues income of $108.24. We had no expense for the month of January. So as of January the 31st, we had $3,301.53 with our January income of $108.24. Our total income is $3,409.77. We had 1 cent added to our savings account, which give us $1,625.26. And with our savings that we have at SunTrust, the balance that we have there is $7,783.17. So the total fund balance that we have on hand is $12,812.20. Are there any questions?
There are no questions. I'll move we accept the treasurer's report.
Okay, it's all accepted then. Very good. Thank you so much. And it's important that we keep moving in the positive direction, that our income continue to exceed our expenses because we don't want to be extinct. So I thank you all for who has a need to be a part of the council, to contribute as being into us for membership. We appreciate that because there's things that we would like to do for the community, but you can see that it takes funds and for us to be able to move forward. So thank you, Ms. Van, for your treasury report. We're gonna move on to the other things on the agenda. And the committee reports. We're gonna ask again that each committee have 2 minutes. The beautification committee is first, but we're gonna come back to that last because the beautification and anti-litter and the code enforcement committee is why we're here today. And we have representative from Orange County government. Let me go back, because I'm ahead of myself. My mistake. Let's go back. Thank you. The president report. I'm getting ahead of myself. If y'all see me get ahead of myself, calm me down, because I tend to get excited. So I don't mind y'all calming me down. The president's report. The president report is that I want to report that our new board of directors, directors at large, was initiated. They came to our first meeting in January. They have gone through training so they can understand more about the council. They've gone through training, and the Pine Hills Community Council board had the audit of their finances. I want to let you all know that. That's every year the funds are audited. And so every dime, every penny was counted, everything matched up. So there's nothing, our books are open. This is a nonprofit organization. So everything is in order as far as our finances concerned. I want the community to also know that at our first meeting in January, the council also set up committees. We realize, and we've already known that there's people in the community that really wants to be engaged in the council. So we set up different committees throughout the council. We have a membership committee and an outreach committee. So as you hear these committees, if there's something that you want to get involved in, make note. And later on after the meeting, send us an email. The email to info@pinehills.info, or go to the Pine Hills Community Council website and fill out the contact form and let us know how you want to help a business team in the council and get the work done in the council, in the community, so to speak. So back to the committee, what the board did in our January meeting was set up committees. We have a membership committee, and this membership committee and outreach committee support the membership growth. If you go to our website, you can read more about it. We're asking you to spend at least one day a month to meet with your committee. We also set up a communication committee. The chairperson of our membership committee is Pastor Joey, who's on the line, but we're asking for people to come in and help join Pastor Joey. Our communication and marketing committee, that is headed by our first chair, our first vice president, Noah Martin. And that's what that says, to help us with our Facebook, our communication, help getting the word out, help with the digital aspect, and getting the news out about the council. There's 2 committees there. I'm move on to the next slide. Our other 3 committees we set up is our beautification, anti-litter, and code enforcement committee. And this committee engaged with community volunteers to encourage and promote the participation and beautifying our community. Our chairperson of that committee is Myra Johnson, and Pastor Joey is the co-chair. Again, these committees will be listed on our website. After the meeting, go to our website and see what best fits you. We have our education committee. Our education committee is to enhance the education experience by linking. We're doing academics and business in the community to educate the community about what's going on in the community. And also we partner with different schools, our Evans High School, our Fluites, our middle schools, and help to embrace what these schools is doing as far as academic with the students. If you want to be a part of that committee, Ms. Sandra Fatme Hall is the chair of that committee. So we're looking forward to that. Then our last committee that we have set up is our economic development, is redevelopment and development. And this is our public policies and our advocacy committee to help pay attention to the local news and local real estate development that's going on that improve the preservation of our community. And I'm the chair of that committee. I'm looking forward to you joining that committee. Again, if you have, we're asking that you commit at least one day a month to meet with that committee. They may meet more than once a month, but at least commit to one day a month for a meeting for that committee. So that's my president report. Again, go to our website Pine Hills Community Council website and take a look at these committees, and please sign up for these committees. So that's what's on the agenda. Let me go back to the agenda. Any questions about those committees before I move on to the sheriff report? Okay, no questions. So I'm gonna give the sheriff opportunity. Thank you, sheriff, for being online. Give you opportunity to give our sheriff report and our sheriff update.
Madam President, you did have a question and it said, can they join more than one committee?
Thank you, Ms. Van. Yes, you may join more than one committee, and thanks for pausing me on that too. You do not need to be a member per se of the council to be a member of the committee. We would love you to become a member of the council, but because you want to engage in the community, yes, you may be a part of more than one committee, and you can bring people on board to help work on the committee. So thank you so much for that question. Thank you, Ms. Van, for slowing me down. Is there any more questions? No. Okay. Sheriff report.
All right, Ms. Rump, thank you for allowing me and Sergeant Prunier to come visit with you all tonight and be a part of the meeting. I've got three elements of my report tonight. First is a crime update, and I start off with good news. Year to date, our crime in Pine Hills is down 49%. So that's fantastic news.
Yes,
But we're
yes.
early in the year, so I always qualify that when we talk about year to date statistics. We're
Mhm.
early in the year, but we have started very well in Pine Hills, down 49%. A more telling statistical report is our 3-week comparison, which again, I bring good news. We're down 30%. So we compare the past 3 weeks with the previous 3 weeks. That gives you a more real-time look at statistical reporting on a 3-week comparison.
Okay.
Again, good news. We're down 30% on our 3-week comparison. So all categories are down in the negatives, or 0% increase. So we're doing fantastic in Pine Hills. So that's just a brief overview of our crime update. One crime prevention note though, there is a trend in our area. So when I say our area, I cover all of Apopka and half of Pine Hills, and it goes down into Pine Hills. We are trending up in the theft of catalytic converters. So
Wow.
those people who don't know what a catalytic converter is, it is a piece of your exhaust system underneath your car. So the scrap metal dealers advertise, they pay top dollar for these. It's not the whole exhaust system, but just a piece of it. They will pay top dollar for this. So we're seeing an increase in that. And the reason I bring it up tonight is they seem to be trending toward targeting F-250 and F-350 trucks and E-250 and 350 vans. So why is that important? Well, the E-250 and 350 vans are most likely church vans and daycare vans. That's why I bring this up. So my question or my statement to you is be aware, be very vigilant. If you own a daycare or a church van and you start it up in the morning and it's very loud, you've probably been the victim of a catalytic converter theft. So they slip underneath and use a battery powered Sawzall to cut out these devices, and they're in and out very quickly. So if you just put a little extra attention and vigilance on your big trucks and big passenger vans, but that's countywide. That's not something specific to Pine Hills, but since it's countywide and statewide, it does flow over into Pine Hills. So just a little crime prevention tip there for your businesses and the NID and churches all within Pine Hills. So good stuff there. Second good news here, if those members recognize the name, she was Major Denise Demps, a major with us. She is a a fantastic manager within our agency. She has been promoted to chief deputy. So that means she is number 4 in the agency. So if you know Miss Denise Demps, now Chief Deputy Denise Demps, please send her a text and say congratulations. But she was
Congratulations to Deputy Demps.
Yes.
very excited for her. So her roots are in Pine Hills. So that's
Yes.
a good thing. That's a good thing. Also tonight with us is Sergeant Granger Prunier. And for those listening in or viewing in who don't realize, the Sheriff's Office received a grant several years ago. And that grant was to provide deputies specifically to Pine Hills. And it's through a federal community-oriented policing grant. So we took the monies and we provided deputies to specific squads. There are 2 sergeants. We work a A-B rotation and they alternate. Sergeant Prunier is with us tonight, and he sees one side of the cop squads that specifically focus on the Pine Hills businesses and Pine Hills neighborhoods and Pine Hills churches and Pine Hills daycare facilities, all of the community of Pine Hills. That is their job. So we're glad to have him tonight. And I fully credit their hard work that I see weekly, almost daily. I get reports from Sergeant Prunier and Sergeant Smeltzer, the cop sergeants, of their hard work that they put out in the community. They're catching the bad guys and they're attending community meetings and engaging with the community. So they do fantastic work throughout the Pine Hills community. So I'm glad he's with us here tonight. And
Good evening.
y'all can see him and congratulate him and the hard work that all of Pine Hills has put in to see this very dramatic decrease in crime this year. So thank you all very much.
Thank you. I'm going to recognize hands. And thank you so much for Captain Carter. Hold on for a second, because I do want to make this distinction, because when the news came out about Demps being promoted, you know, that was the Deputy Andre Demps. Her sister worked closely with the Pine Hills Community Council. So I received a couple of text messages saying, is this Deputy Demps? I said, yes, it's Deputy Demps, but not Deputy Andre Demps. It's Deputy Andre Demps' sister that's promoted. So make that distinction there. Kudos to both of them. I do see a hand up. Maria, is your hand up for a reason?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, good. So do we have any questions to the deputy? I mean, Captain Carter? No questions?
Ms. Rump, I want to add one thing on
I have a
here.
question.
You're absolutely correct. The Demps sisters are a fantastic addition. Congratulations to Chief Deputy Demps. But Andrea Demps works, she is a special projects deputy for the Sector 3 sector. And one of her main tasks is Pine Hills.
Yes.
So if you see Deputy Demps in Pine Hills, it's Andrea Demps, and she's a hammer down there. She is a fantastic lady. When she walks in, she commands the room. She's a fantastic lady, does a great job for us. So.
And one last thing, then let Ms. Roslyn ask her question. You use the acronyms COPS. Would you tell them what the acronyms stand for?
Community-oriented policing.
Policing, there we go. So
Sergeant Prunier probably has more detail on the COPS grant and the elements of the squads, but community-oriented policing.
That's what that COPS stands for. Thank you, sir. Ms.
Yes, ma'am.
Roslyn?
Captain Carter, how do you spell Sergeant's last name?
Oh, I'll show you. Can you see it from here?
Oh, yeah. P-R-U-N-I-E-R.
Yes.
Again, that's P-R-U-N-I-E-R.
Yes.
And first name is?
Granger.
Okay.
Mhm.
Very good. Thank you, Sergeant Pinner.
We're
Ross,
glad to help.
thank you. And we look forward to working with you.
Great, me too.
Thank
Okay.
you.
My question, when we received the grant and the officers were deployed to Pine Hills, we saw them regularly on the street, either walking or riding their bikes, or we don't see them anymore. I mean, have they stopped like riding around or walking around the community?
We're on vehicles. We're doing mostly vehicles. The COVID did throw a giant wrench into a lot of things. I can tell you that. But we're mostly all over the Silver Star corridor. You'll see us a lot. And we usually, when you see us, we also wear a little different uniform. We wear black vests on the outside.
Okay.
That's just one of the things that we have on the cop squad. And when my guys are working, they're all out right now, as a matter of fact. And what we're doing is we're going all over the place. We're not leaving. We hear you when people say that it's not safe to walk down the street or whatever it is. We're all over that street. I can tell you that. Just as an idea, this past year, the year is just closed out. My squad, I'm proud to say, we've taken 100 guns off the street. The next closest squad, I think, had 40, and that was down in the South Orange Blossom Trail area. So they're staying diligent with it. A lot of times we're getting narcotics because people live a high-risk lifestyle that a lot of the people we encounter. And that goes along with a lot of the people who commit these burglaries, that burglarize your homes or your vehicles. They're involved in not just that, there are other things too. What we've had success in is when we're reaching out to people, we know a lot of times people don't want to be a witness, but they want to give information. They want to help. So we're trying to do everything we can to get this information and protect the people and still work the cases as best we can.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
We have a little problem on Hiawassee around Anoka.
Okay.
I believe mainly young people, they would come around late at night, they'll be hanging out, they'll be destroying property. And we would really love to see more of your presence.
Okay, Hiawassee and Anoka?
Yes, Hiawassee and Anoka.
We used to live on Blue Earth Court, which I know is right around the corner from there.
Right.
Yeah. But absolutely, we'll be happy to make our presence known. And thank you for your support. A lot of times, some folks say that we harass people, if you will, and that's not the case. But what we use is what it's called pretextual, which means that we might stop you. For patrol deputies, they're running with calls on the board. There's calls holding. They got to go respond. Well, we don't worry about that. We're all self-initiated, so we can help the road, but our job is primarily to self-initiate or do investigations that may take a little while. And so with tips like your tip right now, we can go and say, we're going to go set up in Hiawassee and Anoka. We'll use some unmarks. We'll see what's going on around there. And then we'll make contact with people. Some of those things might be, their window tint is too dark or they riding a bicycle without a light on it. And that's a minor thing, but it's a legal reason for us to say hello to them and find out what's going on. And that's where we find out, does somebody have drugs? Do they have a warrant? And then, or a gun. It all starts with something small. But,
that is wonderful.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. We got 2 more questions. I'm moved to Dr. Nichols and then Bettina, and then we're going to move on. Dr. Nichols.
Yes, and I want to thank the 2 gentlemen for being on the line tonight. We really do appreciate you. I also I'm off of Hiawassee Road, and of course, lots of traffic along that corridor between Silver Star and Colonial Drive. And I am noticing quite a bit of ATVs and motorcycles and groups riding down that hill extremely fast. And I noticed I think it was Friday night last week, that there was police activity, helicopters probably trying to catch up with those, but they are frequent. And it's frequent down Hiawassee from Silver Star, and they're traveling at high speeds, and there's more than one. There's probably about a dozen of them riding side by side. So they travel from wherever they're coming from straight down Hiawassee. I don't know if they're getting on the expressway or not, but it is probably every Friday and Saturday.
Okay.
Frequent.
We're on this weekend, by the way, so I'll take a look at that Friday and Saturday. Sometimes they get together on social media and they'll plan these things. And then all of a sudden, that's where they all show up. Yes.
It's dangerous.
My young deputies are very good at that stuff. Not so much me, but they know social media very well. So moving on it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bettina?
Well, I asked my question. It was how to spell Sergeant's last name.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for being
Thank you.
part of. Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
noticed.
Thank
I
you.
noticed that we had someone else to join in. Ms. Charlene Gatlin from the Clerk of the Court's office. Charlene, are you there? I know you have known Charlene to be with Senator Brace's office, but she's now with the Orange County Clerk of the Court's office. Tiffany Moore Russell is in the Clerk of the Court. You want to say hello to the team?
Yes. Hi, Pine Hills Community Council. How are
Oh, Charlene.
Hello.
Yes.
you? Yes. So I am in week 2 with Tiffany Moore Russell, our Orange County Clerk of the Courts, as her public affairs and community outreach specialist. So please pray my strength in the Lord in this transition. I know you guys have known me to be with Senator Bracey for the past 4 years, but I'm excited about the new opportunity to be with her office. So while I have your ear, I wanted to let you guys know about an upcoming event that Madam Clerk Russell is hosting from February the 22nd to the 26th. And that will be the virtual Operation Greenlight initiative, where Orange County customers with outstanding traffic tickets and criminal fines will have the opportunity to pay their overdue court obligations while saving 25% with the collections agency surcharge. So customers may be eligible for a payment plan and have their suspended licenses reinstated if all requirements are met. While the collections agency fees are being waived, a down payment is required for a payment plan and the reinstatement fees are applicable. During COVID-19 this year, Operation Greenlight will be again hosted virtually. No appointment is needed. Customers can go directly to contact our office via our website, which is www.myorangeclerk.com during February the 22nd through the 26th to submit a request to participate in this initiative. So we want to get you guys back on the road. We want to get you guys reinstated so you guys can, get back your keys and drive safely on the road. So this is a great opportunity for those individuals who are trying to get their driver's license reinstated, as well as trying to get back good on their criminal fines and fees. So I thank you for your time and I appreciate you guys, and I look forward to being with you on future meetings representing the clerk.
Charlene, could you send that flyer out to us?
It's on our Facebook page. Yes, it's on our Facebook page.
Is it on the Facebook?
Yes,
Okay.
it is. It's
If
up
you
and
could send
running.
it to me, I would appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. So thank you so much for the update. We're almost right on schedule. Look at the committee. I don't think the legislator or the zoning committee has anything to update. Sam Weekly already says he's nothing for the NID. Is anyone on the line for Evans High School? So there's no one on the line for Evans High School, but I do want to say this about Evans High School. We received an email from school board member Karen Casadeno to let us know the Evans High School graduation rate is up. In 2018 to 2019, Evans High School had a graduation rate of 86%. In 2019 to 2020, the graduation rate went up to 97%. So that's good news about Evans High School, our only high school in the Pine Hills community. So I'm gonna give that update about Evans High School. So are we gonna do old business? Then I'm gonna come back to the anti-litter report, because the anti-litter report is gonna move us right into our speaker, where he is here tonight. So let me just quickly do old business, if you all don't mind me switching around this agenda. We are covering everything, but may not be in the order that you want that is on the agenda. So I'm gonna move down to old business. And the old business on our agenda is, I need everyone to mute your line because I'm hearing conversation in the background. So if you're not speaking, please mute your device. So our old business is, in January, we brought to the community amendments to our bylaws. And we said at our January meeting that we would put the bylaws on our website. The bylaws has been on our website for a whole month. And we told you in January that we was gonna come back in February so the voting members could vote on the changes to the bylaws. And the changes to the bylaws is what we did in we made changes for our articles of incorporation, article number 6, and we just, article number 4, excuse me. Item number 7, we added to include the news and media. We added the word "and." Item number 9, up on our articles of incorporation, we had in it that the council can deny membership to a known felon, but we changed it to agree with the Section 4 of the Constitution, which is the same agreement with the Amendment 4 put out. So we could deny membership to a known felon who is a murderer or a sex offender and not have voting rights restored. This is the same language that's now in the Constitution to allow ex-offenders to get their rights back to vote. Before, our article said we could deny membership to any known felon, but we're being specific now. Moving to the bylaws, the changes that we made in amendment to our bylaws was article number 4 again, the dues. We have been operating according to what's here, but we had not put it in writing. So the dues for membership for annually for a business is $100, organization is $50, individual is $20 a year, youth is $5, senior citizens 65 years or older is $15, and dues shall be held in such a manner to provide and carry on the business of the council. We made that amendment to the articles. And the last amendment, the adjustment that we made to our articles and bylaws is that article number 9, in reference to our directors at large. After some discussion, well, that was from our meeting, directors at large shall become a voting member of the board upon serving as a council member for 6 months and having completed their orientation and training. We implemented this year for the new board members to go through orientation and training, and that's what we did. And I'm happy to say that the board members have done that. So this is the amendment we're putting before you. Hopefully that you took time in the month of January to look at the bylaws and see what was there. So right now we need a vote. So can I get a motion? Bettina, I'll get your hand in just a second when we get to that part for discussion, open for discussion. But can I get amendment? Can I get a motion right now to move forward with these amendments?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay. Are there any discussions and questions? Bettina, you want to discuss and have a question?
No, she got a mute. I think that was up from the last time.
Okay, thank you. So from the board members that are present, this is your opportunity to vote. So all in favor, I'm gonna say, are there any opposes? So seeing none opposes, then we'll move forward with these amendments. Thank you so much. I think it's been 2010 since we updated and has taken a look at our articles and bylaws. So it was time to do that and bring things up to date. So we took care of that. So let's go back and get ready to break up our speaker, but I'm gonna bring back and do an update on our beautification committee. This is where we are. Okay. Beautification anti-litter code enforcement. The anti-litter and the beautification committee has already been established. Like I said, Myra Johnson, she's not present right now, and Pastor Joey, they're the chair and the co-chair, but they have put together what they have been doing and where they want to move from here. This is sort of the prep of Mr. Jason, his team that's here, to give an idea of where we're moving, where the Pine Hills Council is moving. What we're doing right now is every fourth Saturday, have what we call Pick Up Pine Hills. Thanks to Pastor Joey that we initiated this. Every fourth Saturday that we meet. The next time we're going to meet is February the 27th. And we clean up Powers Drive. And I'm gonna tell you, I noticed riding down Powers Drive, I could tell the areas that we clean and I could make note of the areas that we was not able to get. It's a huge difference. So we're doing it every fourth Saturday, what the committee is doing. The committee also has partnered before with Robbinswood Middle School Archer Day program and Evans Trojan Service Day program. That's an annual event that the council, Robbinswood, Safe Neighborhood, and other people in the community come together and help beautify and clean up and pick up a litter in the Pine Hills area.
But are you thinking, I'm sorry, are you looking only at the Silver Star area, or are you looking, because you talk about every fourth Sunday, the Silver Star area? Is that the only area you were thinking about?
No, ma'am. No. This is where it started. And as we bring more people on board, we will move to different areas. So no, it will expand. Okay. We're moving forward. We're looking to participate in Earth Day. Dr. Nichols is going to be heading that up, working with the schools and get the kids involved in Earth Day on April 27th. These are things that the Council Beautification Committee is doing, working with Safe Neighborhood and Robbinswood and other people in the community. Moving forward, what they also want to look to do is put out a positive message. See the sign that says, "We love our community. Please help keep it clean." Our chairman, Myra, saw this sign on Kennedy Boulevard going toward Eatonville. So she spoke with the council people in Eatonville to find out where the sign came from. How can we get this sign in the Pine Hills area? Once we started cleaning up these areas, put a positive message out, say something like this. We don't know if the Orange County government can help us with this, but this is some ideas that we want to put before the neighborhood services and code enforcement. A positive messages. We love our community. Put these signs up so people can see this and say that, hey, I'm not gonna throw trash out. Other thing that the committee is working on is Adopt a Highway. They have done their research, diligently research. We have made contact with Orange County government. I think his name is Brian. Amar has done that and got a list of the different agencies or sorority groups that has adopted a highway. The Adopt a Highway program is a program where it's signed up with the county. It's a 2-year commitment, and whoever adopts a highway is committed to help keep that highway, the strip that they adopt, clean. What the beautification committee want to do is work with these people or get accountability from the county to make sure that the organization that has made this commitment is holding true to their commitment in adopting the highway and keeping the highway clean. Fast forward, we would like to implement a coloring book. We know kids learn at a very early age. We get the neighborhood services to buy in with us and produce a coloring book and put these coloring books in the hands of the kids in the elementary school, in the preschool, at the Pine Hills Community Center, and let them know about anti-littering and keeping their community clean at a very, very early age. And then, like I say, Earth Day, again, then the final thing, we have obtained a copy of the county's neighborhood organizations from District 1 through District 6. It's a huge binder of each neighborhood organization that the county has information on. It's public record. We have obtained that information. So what we want to do, the committee wants to do, is reach out to these organizations and see how they can come along and partner with us, these churches and business and HOAs to partner with us. And as we pick up roles in different areas, get those organizations, HOAs, and those churches and those businesses in those areas to partner with us. Again, join us, go to our website, pinehills.info, our websites, email us at info@pinehills.info if you want to be a part of any one of these committees and help us do what we do. Before I bring up the speaker, here's a couple of things that we noticed while we was out on January the 23rd. I'm running a little over on January the 23rd. These are things that we noticed that was on the highway. There's still tractor trailers parked on the right of way. There's cars still parked on the right of way. Huge vehicles that is parked on the property. Litter around businesses, litter on the corner. These are big things here, litter here. And then this last thing here, we saw this bucket of trash. How do we do to get this trash up? And then these trash here. So I know, Jason, I'm bringing you into a time where there's a lot of information here, but but this is where we are, and hopefully that you can address what we have presented before you here today. I'm gonna say this last thing before Mr. Jason Reynolds come up. Write down your questions, people. I want Mr. Jason to be able to go and give his presentation in full. Once he does his presentation, we will come back and address your question. Because if you let him finish his presentation, I need you to please mute your phone. I'm hearing a conversation in the background. As a courtesy to everybody, please, if you're on the telephone. Wish I could. Let me just do this. Let me go ahead and mute them. Make it easy. There we go. So Jason, here we are. Hold your questions, people, until the end of the presentation. Mr. Jason Reynolds, thank you very much for being here tonight with us.
Good evening, everybody. Ms. Rumpf, can you hear me okay?
I can't hear you very well. Thank you, sir.
Okay, good. In this world of online meetings, the first thing to check is if everyone can hear me, is if I'm not on mute. So I'm not on mute, you can hear me. It's a pleasure to speak to the Pine Hills Council this evening. For those who are new or not new, those who I haven't met, my name is Jason Reynolds. I'm the manager of the Neighborhood Services Division. I've been working with the Pine Hills community for all 11 years that I've been with Orange County. 11 years, 2 months, almost 2 months I've been with Orange County. I've been working in the Neighborhood Services Division, working directly with the Pine Hills community. Very recently, there were some organizational changes that impact the Neighborhood Services Division. The Code Enforcement Division, which was managed by Bob Spivey. You all know Bob. He's been with had been with the organization for decades. He retired after a long career with Orange County, retired in June. And during some of the discussions about what to do with code enforcement and how the division can be improved and build on, most importantly, build on the strengths, the decision was made to merge Neighborhood Services with the Code Enforcement Division under the name Neighborhood Services, and Code Enforcement is going to be a section of the Neighborhood Services Division. So that under the division, you can think of this like an umbrella, Neighborhood Services. We're going to be calling it Code Compliance now, which I can go into in just a moment. There'll be a section, Code Compliance, Community Development and Outreach, which many of the grants that you all are familiar with are going to be those, our workshops, the community conference, so community development outreach, the planning, which planning is our economic development activities, our safe neighborhood program, the Pine Hills Neighborhood Improvement District. Obviously there are no CRAs in Pine Hills, but working with CRAs. And then we have administrative support, which is an internal division that really worked to make sure the other 3 lines of the business of our division are operating effectively. So obviously you all are here because you want to hear about the code compliance section. So let me start with what I'm thinking about with the name. For a long time, the division, it was called code enforcement, when realistically the goal is to gain compliance. If someone's grass is too high, or they have an inoperable vehicle, or any of the litany of code enforcement violations, you don't want to get to the enforcement part, because the enforcement part means that it's cited, it's sat there until the person didn't do anything, then the reinspection sat there even longer, then it goes to the code board, they still didn't do anything about it, then the enforcement part are the fines, then the fines rack up. That could be weeks and weeks and months. The goal is compliance. The goal is the person is cited, they say, wow, I didn't realize that this was a violation of our codes, and I'm going to address this. So that's what we're going to be emphasizing in compliance. There are 3 ways to gain compliance, at least 3, but I'm focusing on the 3 ways to gain compliance: education, engagement, and enforcement. Education is key. There are a lot of people who genuinely don't know that codes exist and what they're doing are violations of the code. They just genuinely don't know. Pine Hills is a very diverse community. I love the Pine Hills community. Everyone knows I'm originally from Jamaica. Well, in Jamaica, we don't have some of the same codes of certain things. So if you move here and you're doing things the way you do them, you may genuinely not know. And that's obviously not isolated to Jamaica. I know Pine Hills is a very strong Asian community, very strong community from South America and Central America and throughout the Caribbean. And I've also met some European folks in Pine Hills. And not everybody has this regimented government system of zoning that we have here. So if you're doing the way things you've done in your 20, 30, 40 years in your home country and you come here, you don't know. So then what do? Education, making sure they comply. So that's in education. So engagement. Engagement is something that the code enforcement staff have been wanting to do, and it's been lacking in that division for a long time. When I started with the county 11 years ago, I used to attend community meetings, and there was a code enforcement staff there with me, with the sheriff's office. It was in tandem. Wherever you go, they were there in the community, they attended the meetings, they attended the community events, and that's not happened for several years for one reason or another. So that will change. They will be attending the community meetings. That's a little difficult now because meetings are like this, but in the future, the plan is to have them attending the community meetings, having them form the relationship with the neighborhood leaders, and speaking to the residents. The code inspectors have come to me over the last few weeks and said to me, Jason, we want to be back in the community. We see the value of being back in the community. We know that for us to be effective in our jobs, we need to be meeting residents of this community. They don't want to only see a resident of this community when they walk up to their house and tell them there's a citation. They want to see residents at community meetings and at community events. So they want to do that. And I think that will break down some of the barrier, for lack of a better word, barrier between those who are enforcing the codes in this community. So something else that's going to be emphasized is these codes are in place, but a lot of people don't realize why these codes are in place. These are public health and public safety related issues, by and large, most of them. So you see, okay, all right, my pool is green. I don't care, it's on my property, it's not bothering anybody. Well, no, that's an environmental issue. It's also a safety concern because it does happen where, unfortunately, children or people fall into the pool and they cannot be seen because the water is green. Animals get into those pools and they cannot be seen in the water. And then also the mosquitoes. It's in February, so we're not dealing with mosquitoes, but we know down in June, July, and August in Florida, we're dealing with those things. And we know mosquitoes, and you know that certain illnesses are passed on through mosquitoes. So you start to see how this, something as simple as a pool is a public health and public safety issue. And the why of why these codes are in place is often overlooked and not communicated. So that's something that we're working with everyone to emphasize the why, and making sure that we're going as far as making sure that when officers are talking to residents, it's their responsibility to say why. So this is a violation, why? Genuinely and generally, when residents of the community understand the why, their mindset is different. Their mindset is absolutely different. The vast majority of people, yes, there will always be the habitual offenders with the code. They don't care. They'll park 4 inoperable vehicles on their car. They'll build a shed without getting a permit. They'll start another addition on their house without getting a permit. They'll do all of those things, and they know better and just don't care. I'm not talking about them. That's when the enforcement comes in. The vast majority of residents, I genuinely believe, if explained to why this is important, they'll see the need to comply. And being in the community to talk to residents, such as in these kinds of settings, putting articles in the Midtown Press, is that?
Yes.
Did I get it right? Okay, good. Midtown, being proactive about articles in the Midtown Press, putting articles more in our magazine. We have a PIO in our division, and many of you get our newsletters once a week, and then you get another one a larger one, I think the third Friday of the month, third Monday of the month. Putting that content in there is very important. So people are starting to see that information very regularly. So that's a piece of the spiel. So I know I'm going to address a few things. And I'm going to make an ask of all of you and address a few things. I've been in this role for about 3 weeks now. And what I'm asking from the community, this Pine Hills community, is patience. As things start to change, in how the code inspectors go about doing things. I know that there are nuisance things going on right now. The signs, the snipe signs in the right of way. I know that's the issue. I cannot tell you how I feel about those signs because I don't want to take the conversation in that direction. We know right now with those signs when they get bad. Tax season and election season. We know they get particularly bad. They're at a baseline in managing before that. So Orange County, several years ago, some of you were involved. We had kind of like a focus group. It's probably going back 5-6 years now. We had a focus group to discuss with residents of the community about these snipe signs. And from that discussion was Orange County hired a vendor who goes through the major corridors and picks up these signs. So that's Pine Hills, Silver Star, John Young, 50, those really major roads. They're not going into your neighborhood streets. They're going into the major roads and they pick up the signs. For the most part, they are fair. They're good about going to pick them up. They have their days. They go and they pick them up. They pick up the hundreds of them. But you also realize as quickly as, especially during this time of year and election season, as quickly as someone has gone through the community and picked up signs, there's another person also being paid to put down those signs. And that's where the frustrating part is. Every now and then we're chasing our tails. Additionally, through the Pine Hills Neighborhood Improvement District, which is Sam Weekly, there is an on-call technician who goes through and picks up signs throughout the right-of-way, Mr. Rommel. He's there and he picks them up. But again, if Mr. Rommel goes through there on a Wednesday, believe that someone is there Thursday morning because someone is also being paid to put their signs. And so if we pick up 500 signs, that's the cost of doing business. There have been a number of discussions about how to go after the people who are putting down the signs. That gets very technical and very complicated because it's just a telephone number on a telephone number on a sign. So at one point they were doing robocalls to the numbers, and at one point they were calling them back. But realistically, they don't care. And so I see a question popping up here. I'll try and answer as they fit, is why they cite the business. Is Orange County, when you get a code violation, it goes to a property, it goes to an address. So if I'm and many times the person, so it goes through, so I own a business, I own Reynolds Tax Solutions, I say put signs. I pay someone to put down signs, and I probably tell them, put the sign, don't put the signs in the right of way. Put them in other places, put them on private property, and let them put the right of way. So if I put this sign, so if someone puts a sign down on corner, on Pine Hills Road, or in Silver Star, right in a median, and someone's driving down and they get frustrated and they see it. So the sign is there. How do we cite the business? We don't know, for one, if the business owner puts it down. Two, people are not operating businesses out of brick and mortars anymore. People are operating businesses with a laptop, sitting in co-working spaces. So that is an evolving, continuous battle, is how to eliminate these snipe signs. And unfortunately, the way that we've seen some success is just picking them up. I'm very much a prevention is better than cure kind of person, but in this instance, it just seems like maintaining and picking them up seems to be the way of just cleaning it up as much as possible. And I know there might be a couple other questions. Ms. Rumph, you look like you're ready to come in, or I don't know if I addressed all of the things you wanted me to talk about.
Yes, there were some questions submitted. And if you here have questions, raise your hand. But let me just go through here some questions that were submitted online, Jason, earlier. I think you addressed the first one. It says, how will the merger benefit our community if there's no punitive measures? I think you addressed it.
I addressed that I spoke to you, Ms. Rumph, but I want to address that again for the group, if you don't mind.
Please do.
So a few weeks ago, Steve Hudak with the Orlando Sentinel sat down and he spoke to me about the merger and the division. He wrote a very confusing sentence, which made it seem like the enforcement part was no longer going to be there. That is 100% false. Fake news, false, lies, alternative facts, whatever you want to call it. The enforcement component is absolutely still present. I called him, I spoke to him, I said, this sentence is confusing. You have people in Pine Hills who are coming down to my office and ready to, with pitchforks, saying, how dare you remove the enforcement component of this? And he was like, he's like, okay, you all know Steve, you probably worked with him in the past, and he corrected it online. And I want to make that unequivocally 100%, the enforcement component is there. Enforcement is a part of gaining compliance. We don't want to use that because I told you that's a lengthy process and the situation fixed. The priority is fixing it and complying. So the enforcement component is still there.
Okay. Another question, then I'm going to go to the people that's here that was submitted online. Who take care of the cleanliness of the road, cutting the grass along Colonial between Pine Hills and Good Homes Road and along Kirkman Road? Are those state properties? Colonial?
Those are state highways. I would have to follow up with someone in our Public Works division, but really, those are state roads. The FDOT, one of our favorite agencies to work with, are the ones who maintain those roads.
Okay. One other question, so let me get some clarity. Jason's, there are 3 different numbers that we can call. I'm just learning this out myself. There's a 311 number that I call to report a certain type of code violation. There is a Orange County Sheriff, good Sheriff on the line, thank you. There's an Orange County Sheriff traffic enforcement that I call when there's a problem, I was told. And there is a Orange County Sheriff non-emergency number I call. And I'm saying this because I submitted a code enforcement violation about that 18-wheeler that's parked on the right-of-way on Powers Drive. I submit the picture to 311. So I did not hear back from 311. So I called 311 and gave them a reference number. And 311 says, oh, we don't handle those 18-wheelers on right-of-way. We refer that to the Orange County Sheriff non-emergency number. So I say, fine. Did you get a tracking number when you referred it to Orange County Sheriff non-emergency number? She said, no, I did not get a tracking number. I thought, okay. So how was I supposed to know that? So that's one thing. So the other thing is, so I called Orange County Sheriff non-emergency number and report the incident to them, and they took the information down. So in speaking with Orange County Sheriff non-emergency number, the young lady was nice enough to say, if there is a situation that's on the right-of-way where it is causing a safety problem, where it's obstructing traffic and could cause a safety problem, then you need to report that to the Orange County Sheriff Traffic Enforcement. So there's 3 different options, 3 different things. Maybe you and the sheriff could address that scenario that I went through with reporting the 18-wheeler.
Is this the 18-wheeler? Was it parked? I know there's an issue with them parking in plazas and parking in the right of way. And I need to get better acquainted with because there was some presentations at the board at the BCC recently to try and put some teeth to an ordinance for some enforcement mechanisms.
Yes.
I need to get a little bit, excuse me.
That's you.
Thank you. I need to get a little bit better acquainted with what that process was, and I will get that to you. And I see that information once I have a better understanding would need to go out in the Midtown press and would need to go out through the different mediums to make sure people are aware of it. But I'm not 100% sure about the process right now, but I do know that there was a presentation at the BCC very recently about addressing these 18-wheelers, realizing that this is a big problem across Orange County. Pine Hills feels it hard, but this is a big problem across Orange County right now.
Okay, so you come back. I'm gonna get LaTanya and then Bettina. Nichols and then Bush.
Thank you. I had to take my phone off mute. And thank you, Mr. Reynolds, for being here this evening. I have a question related to the compliance and also accountability of the individuals, the snipe signs. What are other counties or other municipal areas, such as when you look down Hiawassee, you go north of Colonial Drive at Hiawassee, and you see those signs on every other corner, and there are dozens. When you go south of Colonial Drive, heading south towards Metro West and Windermere, you see minimal. So what are they doing differently that we can incorporate into our area? Same thing with North Orange Blossom Trail, South Orange Blossom Trail, Edgewater Drive. What is it that, and then we're being very patient, I think, in this area. For myself, I've lived over here for almost 28 years, and picking up trash, picking up litter, picking up those signs every other day. And yes, like you said, they're back, but how are we holding those individuals accountable? They have to be held accountable in some form or manner because it's the same companies. And I've called.
So when you call them, what happens?
When I've called, I'm more than happy to share. When I've called, I do get a person on the line who indicates or states that they don't know or why those signs are out there, but the number goes to their company. And basically I let them know that I'm picking up the sign that this is something that's a code enforcement issue. And it doesn't matter, they still put them out there so we can educate all day long. However, if there's no accountability for those individuals that can be done on the compliance side, and as residents, we're picking them up daily. And that's why I joined the community. That's why I joined Pine Hills Community Council, to be a part of the difference and reach more people with more support and resources from the county.
So in regards to the
Somebody's dog
sign,
is barking.
Yeah.
It's mine. I'm gonna go on mute
Okay.
while I listen.
Okay.
in regards to signs, so this is a personal opinion about the signs. People put them where they think their target audience is.
Right.
And that's just the unfortunate truth. They put them where their target audience is. So you can go through sections of Windermere and see signs. I see that. You can go through other areas and see them. But when you start to compare places like Windermere or Winter Park, those are very small municipalities. They have a few staff, and they can probably get through that entire area and start picking up signs quickly. The code inspectors for Orange County pick up signs when they see them and they're out there. The vendor picks up signs. And why it's being targeted in Pine Hills is because these companies think that what business they have, whether it's tax or I'm trying to think some of the other common ones I see on there, but the tax ones are the ones that come to mind. They think that their target audience is in Pine Hills or in that community. So that's where they're going to, and many of them know that these signs are going to get picked up and they're going to get put in the trash, but it's their cost of doing business. So this, as I said, this is something that's been ongoing, and we have to continue. I would say, obviously staff working with the community, try to come up with better ways to reach these businesses. I told you in regards to citing them, how it becomes problematic because we don't know who put that sign there. And I'm still learning about different things right now, but the signs realize that I dislike them as much as you do. I see them in my community as well. I see them all over the place, and I want to continue to find solutions to address this.
Okay, I'm gonna go to, thank you, Jason. Wait, Ken, I'm going to, Bettina had her hand up. Bettina?
Can you hear me? Okay, I've got
Yes.
a couple of things. In regarding the vehicles and the van and the dual-wheel vehicles, this was the problem initiated and came to a head when we could not get the correct way to report because we had going like this. And when we talked with Commissioner Siplin about the issue with reporting, and then we started to actually canvass and discover the large numbers that were along the roadways. That's when the ordinance became a county issue, and they changed the ordinance. But in the process of changing the ordinance, Jason, they outlined the procedure for reporting. I feel the problem here is the staff hasn't been well versed, either in the sheriff's office or in Orange County. So when people call in, they still get the runaround. So once you clarify the process that the commission set up and internally educate the staff, then our problems will subside.
Okay.
Thank you, Bettina. That's a very, very good point.
I got a question too. I'm gonna bring this other slide back up. This is brought to attention to, Myra's not here, But if you see this picture here, Jason, when the county is mowing the lawn, this is on Powers Drive. So the county takes care of this right of way and mowing the lawn. I call it lawn, the grass, the right of way. When that person is out, is it any way possible that they can report what they see? Because when they're doing this, they're gonna mow around here and so they finish mowing. But if you see this here, is there any way possible, Jason, that that county staff that is doing that, can they report this? What can they do to help us alleviate from seeing this? I know we could call it in, we could put in 311, but is there any way that the county can work with us when they see this while they're doing their job?
I can, and usually maintaining the right of ways is something that's done in Public Works. Typically, I want to say that's the Roads and Drainage Division in regards to Public Works. I know there have been, that's another thing over time is, instead, so they're usually contracting with a vendor to mow the right of way. Okay. I know there have always been discussions about why are they mowing around the trash? Couldn't they pick it up? Couldn't they pick it up or whatever the case? Because this situation, so they dump it, and so you have this trash here. Say it's on right of way. Like you can't cite the person. You can't cite. It's public it's Orange County property. You can't cite them, or they bring it to the right of way. It just becomes it becomes kind of like, well, the solution is picking it up. And I can follow up with the Public Works, the staff person I'm thinking about in Public Works, to talk about when there's trash in the right of way. What is the course of action? Do you just mow around it? I mean, like, can they pick it up? What are the options? Different things like that.
Okay. Hold on, Miss Cloud, and Ken had his hand up first, and then I come to you. Thank you. Ken.
One of the things about code enforcement is that it goes before an enforcement board or a special magistrate. And the special magistrate. And one of the questions we have had is why can't we have everything go before the code enforcement board? And enlarge the board so we don't have to have a special magistrate, because I think that may be the breakdown in the system.
I don't know if the special magistrate is, I'm going to choose my word very carefully. She is, I'm going to say it the other way. The code enforcement board is more lenient than the special magistrate. Okay. I think you have it. The special magistrate, I've seen her in action, and she takes no BS from anybody. So I would say this, if anybody's ever watched those meetings, and I don't remember her name right now, she's a brilliant attorney. She's been doing it for a few years. She does it on other municipalities. She understands the code. She understands the community, and the code and I will say is the code enforcement board is far more lenient than she is.
Okay, thank you, Miss Rosalind.
Hi, yes. In going back in reference to the mowing of the right of way, I have seen in some areas that as they mow the lawn, someone picks up the trash. I've seen some places where they do that. And here in Pine Hills, they not only mow around it, but they don't edge the grass sometimes. And I know personally, I have had to call Roads and Drainage. I had to call them several times because they have they would cut the grass. It looks really sloppy. They will leave places in between, and then they will not cut around and edge the grass. So even though it's cut, it looks bad. So if they can pick up the trash in some areas, they can pick up the trash in Pine Hills too when they cut the grass. Because I've seen them cut the grass and put the trash in bags and leave the bags on the side of the road for them to pick up. Yes, I've seen that.
Okay.
I've seen some of those things too, Ms. Ross, and I think that your point is taken about, can they just pick it up? That's a roads and drainage, which is a partner division for us here. And I mean, I think some of these questions I obviously can't answer. And I believe bringing someone from that division here to have a dialogue the way I'm doing it tonight about how they do things, why they do things. I know they contract a lot of their work. But I think that would be, Ms. Rumpf, that's a good speaker for March or April, is to bring someone from roads and drainage, because I don't want to start going down into their world. I'm still learning my new world now, so I definitely can't go into their new world.
I got a question, Jason, back to this presentation, this slide. This is this time to neighborhood services. How can we, or can we implement a sign like this? Is this sign something that neighborhood services could pick up as a project?
This is the one that says, "We love our community, help keep it clean."
Yes.
I mean, is this just a freestanding sign in the right of way?
Yes.
I mean, it's certainly possible. Pine Hills recently put up some beautiful signs on their edge of their community, and I mean, I don't see why we'd have to. There's a process to put these signs in the right of way. Realize that, and there's a cost, but I mean, this isn't something insurmountable. It's doable. We just have to lay it out and how we're going to do it.
Okay, and I guess my question is, so who do we bring this project to?
The Safe Neighborhood Partnership.
Yes, Bertina's right. Talk to Allison about community signs.
Okay, so Jason, did I hear you? I'm gonna stop sharing this. Did I hear you clearly earlier to say that someone will be coming to our meetings on a regular basis?
If you would like someone from your meeting there, just like all I would ask is you have them give the update in the beginning, like the sheriff's office, and keep them in the meeting as early in the meeting as possible. And please keep it respectful. I know code enforcement issues bring out that people are very passionate, and passionate residents are great residents, but the dialogue goes much better when everybody is staying respectful. If you would like someone, and just Ms. Rumpf, send me an email, I'll connect you. But like I said, the main thing is please make sure they're in the beginning of the meeting as much as possible, so they can give their update, answer questions, and go back to their functions.
So thank you, sir. Thank you very much, because that was a good point there. So from the discussion that we had tonight, when could we expect to hear back from you with the question that we laid before you, that you can get back with us?
Which ones? I mean, so obviously SNAP signs is an ongoing issue. In regards to a code staff person, if you don't mind calling me tomorrow so we can talk about it.
Okay.
And
then about what Bettina said as far as knowing which one to call. Yes.
With Chuck, yeah. I'll clarify. I have the staff person I'm going to call tomorrow to clarify. And perhaps Bertina, if that can go in one of your magazines, or if that can go out in one of your new and do the newsletter chain, so people will know who to call, so they don't get passed up.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we did that the last two issues. We had something in there about that. We can do it again.
Okay. Nichols and Bettina, your hand is still up. Is this from the last time, or you have other questions?
I had just one, just a comment.
Okay.
I'll let Bertina go first.
I just wanted to comment on the debris, Jason. I know it's probably roads and drainage. I'm not sure who is responsible, but when you talk with them, you know how they have large item pickup, and that really helps us when people put things out the right of way. The truck comes by every so often and picks it up. Maybe on a quarterly basis or every couple months, if they could do the same thing with brush and debris, because it accumulates. People don't know again, and they just clean up their yards and they throw it there. You can send out little notices that they should be bundled, but unfortunately, not everybody does that. So to help remove the backlog, if we could get a service that would just every so often come by and just pick it up.
Okay, thank you, Bertina.
You know, our concern is like any other, Nichols, I'm sorry, go ahead on.
No, I'm fine. I just want to thank Mr. Reynolds for entertaining my questions and comments tonight. I really do appreciate the work that's been done, and I'm one of those passionate neighbors, as most of us on here. My question relates to with the calls, the 311 calls, etc., and as well as a cleanup, neighborhood beautification person. I'm also interested in problem solving and finding resolutions as well. Is there a way to look at heat maps as to where the bottlenecks are, the problem areas for our area, and what types of cleanup initiatives or I guess litter problems that are taking place in those areas, such as what Madam Rump presented, and some of the others is like the trash and the four-wheelers. Are there bottlenecks or problem areas that we can, identify, have some data?
You mean do you mean, I suspect you and I need to have a conversation more in depth, we could talk, but do you mean areas where things are, the proliferation, they're more dense, like for some reason, all of more violations happen here? Is that information available, you said?
Yes, it's basically similar to a heat map area where you have hot
Yes,
spots.
that information is available. Can we please talk tomorrow or sometime later this week more in depth? Because I don't want to turn this into a back and forth between you and I, but I do have questions. So if Ms. Rumpf or Bertina or Ms. Fatmi Hall, they all have my contact information.
Okay. Thank you, Jason. I mean, you can see that the people here on this line, they're passionate about Pine Hills, and you've been around for us for a minute. So you know that we're passionate about Pine Hills. For one thing, I do want to point out one thing I think Nichols brought up in about the Metro West area, which is different than the Pine Hills area. Metro West have what they call a master plan, which we don't have this in Pine Hills, where HOAs have their HOAs in each community, but each HOA fall upon a master plan that governs all of those HOAs in that Metro West area. So with that master plan, they're paying a cost to keep that area clean. So that's a master, I know Metro West has that master plan, and so does down Hunters Creek going down South OBT. They have what they call a master plan. So that's something that we don't have here. So that's why we're coming together as a community individually. And that's why we're trying to work with the HOAs in the community to work together as a team. And once we do this as a team, HOAs have a vested interest in this and get them to come on board and become a part of the council. So we help keep the area clean. But we know what's important. We know that blight, it leads to crime, leads to low property value. That's why we're fighting so hard to clean up the area and keep it clean. So we have some type of sign that say, hey, we love our community. They love their community. Let's help keep it clean. We used to have a billboard. It did years ago, spruce up Pine Hills. So anyway, that's what we are. Thank you, Jason. Are there any more questions? Ms. Fatmi Hall, your hand is up. Sandra? Okay.
No, ma'am, I don't have a question. Oh, no.
Ms. Rumpf, this is Maria. Just a quick question. I don't know if it was just the council that was supposed to be speaking, but I think that my dream would be.
You remember Maria?
Yes, I know.
Okay.
I'm just starting, but you hit a very vital point, and the lady that spoke before, why is it that they mow around and leave the trash? And I know that all our HOAs here around me, they pick up the trash as they mow because the HOA is the one paying for it.
Right.
I think that it would be wonderful in the future to consider the businesses because they want their clientele to come to clean, safe places, you know, and I'm wondering if they would be willing to pay a certain amount for that to happen, you know, where all the trash is picked up. I'm going to say just very quickly, McDonald's, which is a brand new building right there between 50 and Paul Street. Every morning, they were paying one person to blow, to clean, and make it so beautiful. That stopped. And I'm wondering, why did it stop? And I'm just thinking instead, let's have all the businesses to get on board to see how we can go ahead and have that every single morning and pay our folks even that are not panhandling, because they are human beings, that I think it would be so wonderful to just pay them a minimum each day for them to have a little job, if that's what they would want.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Maria. Again, thank you all for joining the council.
I have one other comment here.
Yes, ma'am.
That's a very good point. We have found, because we have so many people in Pine Hills, many people walk, pedestrians, many schools. Much of our debris and trash comes from around schools, where people are walking to and from, or from convenience stores where they're walking to and from, or fast food places. So we probably need to take a look at that when you're evaluating how we should move forward.
And things like, we're gonna close this almost, it's 8 o'clock. Things like this, people, that you see with these businesses, you can take a picture of this and send this to 311. I have done this with businesses in my area, sent the pictures to 311. They went out there, enforced it. Now that particular business is keeping that area clean. Whatever it takes for them to, the cost of doing business, like they said, we can report stuff like this. And once they cite it 1 or 2 times, then they will keep the area clean. So thank you, Jason, for coming out. Thank you, members, for joining in. Thank you, everybody here, for joining Facebook Live. Thank you for having an interest in Pine Hills. I do love Pine Hills. I hope that you love the Pine Hills Community Council. This is what we do every first Tuesday of the month. We educate, we bring in the resources that you need. Become a part of the council. And again, go to our website. It's Pine Hills Community Council. Now our website is pinehills.info. Someone put information. Thank you, Orange County Sheriff, for putting the traffic and parking compliance website in the chat. Thank you. And email us at info@pinehills.info. Become a part of the council. Sign up for some of these committees that we talk about. We talked about the different membership committee, the beautification committee, the code enforcement committee. We talked about the education committee. Sign up for some of these committees and help us bring Pine Hills in the area where everyone would enjoy living, working, and playing. Our communication, our marketing committee. My time is well spent. Thank you again for joining. Do we have an 1-minute announcement? Any 1-minute announcement? You can do your announcement in 1 minute.
Yes.
Pastor Joey. Pastor Joey, yes,
Just
sir.
real quick again, 2612 North Powers Drive tomorrow at 11 o'clock. We'll have 100 boxes of food which is the milk, the cheese, the meat, produce, things of that nature. So if you need, we didn't do a lot of advertisement because 100 boxes go really quick. So if you know someone that, because we didn't do any advertisement, but there are specific people that we know that are coming. So if you know someone specifically that is in need of food, give them our address, 2612 North Powers Drive, tomorrow at 11 o'clock.
Awesome. And to piggyback on Pastor Joey, on February 11th, Thursday, February 11th, we are all partnered up to start our food drives again at 6001 Silver Star Road. And we look forward to everyone spreading the word. The flyers will be out in a couple of days. Thank you all.
Thank you, Ken.
I want to remind you that our meeting on February 11th at 6:30 is open to all people, especially if you'd like to learn how to organize your subdivision or even your street. And you can call Neighborhood Services and get the information to get connected to WebEx.
Okay. Thank you, good people. Join the council. You have a good night. Good night. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night. Good night.